I'm sure you've been in conversations with people where if it ever turns to Christianity or something like that, someone's going to make this statement. Jesus is just like any other religious figure. I mean, what's the big deal? He's just one of the many. That's because a lot of people don't know that much about Jesus. They've only heard his name. And so what we want to do here is just kind of whet people's appetites and get them kind of excited that Jesus really is different.
Mhm.
And here's one of the first things about Jesus that is different than any other religious leader. He actually claimed to be God.
That's right. When you think of some of the other popular religious leaders like Mohammed or Buddha or Joseph Smith, none of them actually claimed to be divine, claimed to be God. They would kind of point the way to the
Right.
truth, whereas Jesus actually claimed to be the truth.
And on top of that, there were all kinds of predictions about Jesus coming. The Old
Right.
Testament is filled with these predictions
Called
uh,
prophecies,
called
also. Yeah.
prophecies. Yeah, over 300 of them
Mhm.
that are very detailed in a lot of ways about how many pieces of silver he'd be betrayed for. He'd be
Mhm.
coming into Jerusalem on a donkey. It
Mhm.
goes on and on and on. You don't want to get into too many of those unless you have a subsequent conversation. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest things was that he was going to die and that he was going to actually come back to life. And you know what? You know how Jesus is different than anybody else? He came back to life after being publicly executed. It wasn't some secret little execution over here where nobody knew. It was the biggest thing that happened of the day on the most festive day of the entire world, of the entire year, and he was seen by thousands. Everybody knew he was executed,
Mhm.
and they also knew on the third day that tomb was empty.
Right. And he predicted that he would be killed, but he also predicted that he would come back 3 days later. And this claim is so significant. Like Christianity rises or falls on this miraculous
It's the
event that
key, the
happened.
key
Yes,
to
it is the
everything.
absolute key. And his body was never found, like you said. I always say that, like, if they wanted to disprove, like, if the Roman leaders and the Jewish leaders who really wanted to stop this whole
Right,
rebellion or this whole movement, they could have
right.
just dragged his body out of the tomb and paraded it around town to prove, hey, see, he's a fake, it's a fraud, it's over. But they couldn't do
They
it.
never could.
No, mm-mm.
And let me give you one last claim, which is huge. He said that he actually was the savior of the world.
Right. Other religious leaders, again, they come with their set of teachings and beliefs and the way to kind of earn your own salvation or earn God's favor or earn God's blessings. But Jesus was very, very different. That he didn't just teach a bunch of ways to do it.
Yes, he actually said he was the way.
Right.
He said, I am the way,
Right.
not my teachings are the way, even though his teachings are excellent.
Mhm.
He said, that's not what's going to connect you to a relationship with God. I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. Nobody can come to God except through me. And that is very narrow. So either Jesus was just outright lying, which is kind of hard based on some of the things that he said, or he was just crazy. He was just deranged and he didn't know what he was talking about, or possibly it's really, really true. And about this time, I would say to somebody, you may not really be aware of kind of the central theme of Christianity and the part that Jesus played in it. If you've got a few minutes, I'd just love to communicate that with you. And then if you get that opportunity, you go ahead and you lay out the gospel of Jesus Christ that can transform somebody's life forever. So always keep in mind, we're not trying to win an argument. We're trying to win people into a relationship with God. And this question that leads so beautifully to the gospel
Mhm.
actually is one of the best ways to do it.